So generally, when you say lean and agile and how to really differentiate and distinguish between these, um, in in an early product where you're pre-product, you don't have anything, build it from scratch. Lean can mean figuring out what needs to be built and then build MVP and then test, measure, and go through that loop. When you are in an established product organization and you're building out features, I think the work that all of you have done around Amazon Prime, um, around Udemy, around WhatsApp, it's challenging at that point to be working in a lean way. So what you need to do is use lean as a methodology to really understand what needs to be built, and then use agile as a delivery, a framework and a mechanism for how you should be building software. So the principles behind each of these, lean says to build your idea with the least effort and waste as possible. Agile says to work incrementally, receive feedback from stakeholders constantly, enables teams to react based off of changing customer and market priorities. So in theory, both of these in principle are aligned to each other. It's just how do you apply what and when. Any questions? So we're gonna dive in a little deeper on agile. So agile development, we are now getting into the how of development. Agile has a manifesto, which has 4 key principles. These are really popular. You can Google them as well. Effectively, they say individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So one thing you want to observe is that each of these 4 bullets, they say over, not completely remove the latter part. So you want to make sure that you are providing information and details to individuals on your team rather than following processes and tools for the sake of following them. So trust your team, build a good rapport with the team, and make sure that you are developing together and have constant interactions with them so you know you're moving in the right direction rather than relying on some outdated processes and tools. The second part of the manifesto is working software over comprehensive documentation. Once again, not saying that documentation is bad in any way, but if you have to choose working software, you want to make sure you build it. So, and the purpose of that is that so you can test it out with your customers. You cannot test documentation out with customers. You can test software out with customers. So you want to make sure you have software over comprehensive document. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Customer is your friend here. You want to treat them as your friend and get feedback from them rather than you figuring out or spending 4 months, 6 months on a contract that is stuck in legal, stuck in procurement, stuck somewhere that you cannot get feedback on from right away. And then the last one is responding to change over following a plan. You want to make sure that a plan that you developed 12 months ago, it's okay if it changes. You are responding to change. You don't need to stick to a particular plan if it doesn't make sense anymore. So effectively, it is providing a lot more autonomy to the teams, to individuals, to product managers, to developers, to make sure you're building the right things based off of what customers are saying, rather than sticking to a particular plan, which was defined and designed. And some of the principles that are behind the Agile Manifesto, there are 12 of them in total. I pulled out the first 4, which I feel like were the most relevant ones behind the manifesto. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. Based off of the entire course that we've taken so far, this should be of no surprise. We welcome changing requirements, even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. customers are telling you what they want to do, you want to make sure that if the requirement is changing in any way, that's okay. There, like in waterfall development, there's a thing called change request. You don't want to create processes around that. You want to make sure you're responding back to it and making the software that you create is going to add value to the customer. Deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months time frame, with a preference to a shorter time scale. Similar to what we spoke about, agile versus waterfall, you want to make sure that you develop and deliver on software quickly and get feedback on that. And business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. That is critical. Product managers can be called business people. You are providing the customer input into the product development team, so you can build something the customer is going to use and value. If you are interested, there is a link over there to the rest of the principles. Become familiar with them. Good learning tool, and good to get your mindset in there. I know hearing from me harping on a few points may not be the best thing, but this is generally the principle that you want to be following as a product manager as you are going ahead and developing the products that will be used by customers.